Hey guys, today I have something a little different. This build is not for Canada, it's for the States. You can build the same thing in Canada, but it will be more expensive because that's how prices are. It's kind of bullshit, but the States gets everything, and we always get everything else more expensive. So, this is an FM2 plus AMD build, and it's based on the FM2 plus chipset, but the processor is not an FM2 plus processor. It's an FM2, but it will work with the motherboard anyways. So the CPU is the AMD Athlon X4760K. It's a quad-core processor. There's probably not a whole lot that can compete with it within this price range, and it's going for $84.74. For the motherboard, we're going to go with the Gigabyte GA-F2A88X-D3H. That is a long ass name, and it's a micro ATX FM2 plus motherboard, so you can always switch over to an FM2 plus processor later on if you want, which I don't really see the point because I don't know, I just don't really see the point to it. Anyways, the price is $79.99. For the memory, Kingston Black 8 gigabytes, 2 sticks of 4 gigabytes each, running at 1600 megahertz. And this stuff is going for $64.99, which is dirt cheap because the cheapest memory I can find in Canada will run you about $75-80. So anyone in the States that complains about RAM prices, just stop it, okay? For the storage, now right here I put an SSD in this build. You don't need to put an SSD. You can take the money and put it into a better graphics card, because the graphics card I picked is not like, it's not gonna run your games at ultra or whatever. But if you do get rid of the SSD, you can maybe raise the hard drive space a little bit more and have even more money for a better video card. Anyways, the SSD is the ADATA Premier Pro SP900 128 gigabytes, and that is going for $74.29. And the mass storage is a Seagate Barracuda 1 terabyte, and that is going for $54.99. And this is what I mean by prices. Again, everything is freaking cheaper in the States. So that the SSD I just told you about over here, it's $100. So you're saving about 25 bucks right there. Anyways, video card. We're gonna go with the EVGA GeForce GTX 750 Ti, and you might be wondering why I went with a 750 Ti when I could have probably went for an R9 270, because it kind of makes sense. When you're looking at it, like when you're buying stuff in the States, it makes sense. In Canada, the 750 Ti is $199.99. That's what it goes for, which is stupid because for $15 more you get an R9 270. But in the States, it's $154.99, and the R9 270 is $210. So there's about a $55 extra like difference between them. So it makes sense to go for a 750 Ti. But if you live in Canada, don't bother with it. Just go with an R9 270, R9 270X. Anyways, for the case, we're going to go with the NZXT Source 220 ATX mid-tower case. It's going for $44.99. It was the cheapest, good enough case for a beginner that I could find. So, yeah, there's I don't think there's probably anything better within this price range. You could probably spend $10, $20 more and get a better case like the Corsair 200R or something. But for this build, I just went with the NZXT Source 220. For the power supply, EVGA 500 watt 80 plus bronze, and that is going for $44.99. The reason why I went with a 500 watt power supply, you don't even need that for this build. You can go for an even lower one because the video card doesn't even use up that much. But it's always nice to have a little bit of headroom, and especially if you want to upgrade later on, it's always nice. And you can even go for a 600 watt power supply if you want. I will leave extra options for everything at the end of this video, so don't worry about that. For the optical drive, we're going to go with the Samsung SH-224DB. It's going for $20.99 from Amazon. And this is, I put this in every freaking build. This is just to install Microsoft Windows on there, or whatever OS you want to put on. And speaking of the OS, Microsoft Windows 7 Home Premium 64-bit is going for $99.99. So the total for everything is $773.57. If you have exactly $800 that you want to spend, I would suggest maybe I don't know, probably if you want a nicer case or whatever, or maybe an even better processor, maybe switch it out for something else. You do whatever you want to do. Anyways, I'm gonna leave you guys with a bunch of extra parts, and I'm out. Peace.